All right. Hi, it's Toby from Heavyweight MMA. Today with Mr. Phar Jack Jenkins, the fibula smasher, the bird cracker, with a new win in the UFC. Well done, brother.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Man, it was being a Jack Jenkins fan. It was a tough fight to watch because it was a very, very tight fight, man.
Yeah, it was fucking real tight. Much tighter than I would have liked, to be honest. But you know, you can't. Yeah, the reality is, as you get higher and higher in the sport, you know, opponents get tougher and people get smarter and people make adjustments, and you got to deal with that on the fly. But yeah, it was a good fight. I thought Jamal. I was, you know, even when I spoke to you, I was really, you know, complimentary of how good I thought Jamal was, and he did live up to that. I think he's a really good guy. And if you listen back to the commentary, a comment that Daniel Cormier and Dominic Cruz both made was, this is a really high-level featherweight fight, and you're going to see both of these guys competing at the high level for a long time yet to come.
And as you mentioned, man, as far as stylistically, that's one of the more difficult matchups for you. So it's nice to chalk that one up earlier in your career, right? And move on to people that aren't quite as rangy and fluid moving everywhere, yeah?
Yeah. And willing to, like, change their style. Like, felt like if he had stayed how he fought the first round, I might have been able to actually get some stuff off. But he immediately changed his go into the second and third round. So I kind of fought three different dudes in each round, which is, you know, credit to him. I'm just, sometimes if that had gone the other way, the decision, I wouldn't be mad about it. Like, I'm not going to sit here and fucking Sean O'Malley and Zero and I fucking did the best thing I could. I thought it was a close fight. I thought I won the 2 rounds. But it is what it is.
It is what it is, man. I do have a bone to pick with you though, bro. Last time we talked, you said first round knockout. I threw $400 on first round knockout and fucking actually, but I also actually threw on a parlay as well, but it lost by someone else. So yeah, it's all right, man. I'll get you next time.
Yeah, get me on the next one.
That's it, man. Actually, on that though, you did mention that you wanted to sit down on your punches a little more, and I could see you were sitting down a little bit more on the punches. Just he's a very evasive guy. You did land a couple of powerful shots, but it's his movement that kind of messes up a little bit, right?
It's funny, if there's one fight where it's like probably not the ideal fight to try and sit down on your shots, it was that one. It was like he was just in and out, and even when he was against the fence, he was smart. But he came up to me after the fight and he said, man, you're so composed for someone who's only had 13 fights. He said he couldn't believe how, like, you know, I was just sitting in front of him and wasn't getting, you know, frustrated or rattled, and I just sort of stuck to what I was trying to do. So that was nice to hear from him, because he's obviously had so many fights, and, you know, he's just coming off a win against a guy who's 26-0. So yeah, it's a good win for me.
And bro, as we probably discussed last time, like everyone knows it's coming. Everyone knows the calf kick's coming. But my God, that first one you cracked was so solid, man. And yeah, although he probably masked it pretty well, you landed enough that it would have been affecting his movement, right? Which is the perfect thing to do to a tall, rangy guy that's bouncing around everywhere.
100%, yeah. And that's why his corner wanted him to go for the takedown, because I think they just thought it would be, the more time that went on, the more I would have been able to get off and the less he would have been able to get off.
Yeah, and Dominic Cruz picked it up, and you mentioned it later that you were throwing that left body kick to kind of put him off the calf kick with the right leg, yeah, the lead leg. So, yeah, it was a good tactic, bro.
Yeah, because even that's another thing we didn't expect. In his other fights, he pretty much non-stop circled to his right side. I remember we spoke about this, Toby.
Yeah, we talked about that, yeah.
Pretty much non-stop circled to his left. Like, it was just a complete switch up from what he'd done. But whenever he did circle that way, I ripped a few switch kicks, and again, he mastered it really well, but I landed a few really solid ones, which kind of squared him back up to me and let me go to the calf again. But still, like, I still got a lot to work on and a lot of things I could have done better. And, you know, I'm heading down. I'm going to take this week as kind of a little bit of a break. I'm in New York right now, and I used to live in Canada, so I'm going up to Canada to see some friends over the weekend. But sort of Monday, Tuesday, I'm heading down to Vegas, and I'll be at the PI and just training for that week again, watch the Aussie boys on that card, and then I'm home, and it's pretty much week 1 of camp again for Sydney. So, right, you know, I'll try and fix those holes and, you know, I've only had, like you said, that was my 14th fight. I feel like there was a couple of things that clicked for me where I didn't do something in my prep and I felt like it showed in my fight, or I did do something and then it does show in the fight. So I feel like going back to this camp, there's a few things that I probably didn't put enough time into that I'm going to add a bit more in now. And then there's a few things that I put a lot of time into that didn't really help me that much. So I'm going to sort of pull back on them a bit.
Perfect, man. And also, like you mentioned before, that you were happy to be fighting outside of Australia. You did the fight in Perth, and now it's time to like try the big time back over in the States, man. Obviously, you've done the right thing. You've asked for an extension. You've stuck around a bit longer. You can really make the most of being over there, right? Like you're dipping up to Canada, coming back to watch a show, working in the PI. This is the best thing to do, right? To really take advantage of being an international fighter on UFC, right?
Yeah, 100%. And the UFC are great. Like I just rang them and said, can I change this flight? I had to pay like a small change fee or whatever. And then they were like, yep, sweet, you're flying home from Vegas now instead on the Monday after 290. So, and my big thing is I get to go, there's like 6 Aussie boys on that card. Like I get to go and support them and watch them and cheer from the crowd. So I'm pumped about that.
Yeah, no, it's going to be good. And then Volk will have his contingent, so you can make a party of it, bro. When Volk takes the crown, you guys can head out afterwards.
Yeah, me and Volk are fucking dangerous when we get together on the sauce. So,
Speaking of that, bro, did you go sick after the fight? What did you do afterwards?
I just went out, like, I try to keep it small, like, especially right after the fight. I just took my 2 coaches, my dad, my brother, and my mate Jacob, who sort of flies everywhere with me, who trains with me. We all just went to an Irish pub and had a few drinks, and then we went to this really nice taco restaurant. But I went fucking sick the day we got to New York. I just got too excited to be in New York, and I just cut sick. It got messy by the end of it.
Yeah, fair enough, man. While in New York, gotta have a bit of fun, right?
Yeah, exactly. You got to have a go, especially when I'm going back to back into another fight. You got to have a go while you have a chance. Yeah,
and man, UFC 293 coming up. I'd like to see you there because I'm flying over for it, bro. You going to be there?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Sick, awesome. Nate Landwehr, how's that looking, bro?
Don't know. I've heard mixed reviews. I heard that maybe he took a bit too much damage in his last fight, so he might not be ready to go, which would be 100% fair. You can't try and push someone in. And it's fighting someone as good as Dan Ige and heavy might not be ready. But if it's not that fight, then we'll find another one. Or if worst case scenario there's no fight, I'll go up just as a guest or appearance or something like that. But I can't see a reason why I wouldn't get a fight. Like, it wouldn't make much sense to me to leave me on the sidelines for that.
That's it. It's kind of perfect timing, right, to get back in there for you as well to get the cash rolling, man. So bro, 2023, the rest of 2023, what are we looking at from the Phar Jack Jenkins team?
So we'll get another win in Sydney, hopefully. So that'll be my 4th fight inside 12 months, which is a good ticking rate. And then after that, that takes us to spring in Melbourne, and spring in Melbourne is Christmas for me. So I'll be having a month or two just to, heal the body, because you do carry injuries through, heal the body and work on some real skill development. You don't really get to develop skills that much when you're getting ready for fights. You work game plan, you get fit, you get locked in, but you don't necessarily get to develop skills. So it'll be a little skill development block over the spring. And then just depending on when the UFC comes back, if they're doing another show in Australia in February, I could see myself waiting for that. Just start the year fresh in February and ready to go. But if they're not doing the show in February, then I'll probably try and get back over and fight again in December. And then it'll be 4 fights in the calendar year as well.
Yeah, nice, man. Nice. Anyway, man, thanks for the info. Just wanted a quick catch up, see how you're rolling after the success, man. It's great to see you get another win, man. Australia's backing you. I'm sure your name's starting to pop up on a few people's radars. So, yeah, good to see you growing with your following, and good to see your success, bro.
Thanks very much, Toby. I appreciate it.
Cool, bro. Have fun over there, and we'll catch up soon.
Will do. Thanks, mate.